The first one is cystic fibrosis or CF. CF is a hereditary disorder that impacts protein within the body. Individuals with cystic fibrosis possess a defective protein that impacts the cells, tissues, and glands responsible for producing mucus and sweat. Cystic fibrosis is an inherited degenerative condition that impacts the respiratory system, pancreas, and other bodily organs. Ito ay isang namamanang sakit na nakakaapekto sa mga cells na gumagawa ng mucus, pawis at digestive fluids. So kapag normal lang yung tao and walang cystic fibrosis, yung mucus niya is manipis and madulas para ito sa pagtulong sa paghinga at digestion. Pero sa taong may cystic fibrosis, nagiging sobrang lapot at malagkit ang mucus. Dahil dito, nagkakaroon ng bara sa mga daanan ng hangin sa baga na nagdudulot ng hirap sa paghinga at madalas na impeksyon sa baga. So nakakaapekto rin to sa pancreas, kaya nagiging mahirap para sa katawan na tunawin at i-absorb ang mga sustansya mula sa pagkain. Dahil ito ay isang genetic na sakit, kailangang mamana ng bata ang defective na gene mula sa parehong magulang para magkaroon ng cystic fibrosis. Sa ngayon, wala pang lunas para sa cystic fibrosis pero may mga treatment naman tulad ng gamot, therapy at specialized care para makatulong din sa paghinga at digestion at mapabuti ang kalidad ng buhay ng pasyente. Sickle cell disease is a hereditary hematologic illness. It is characterized by defective hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein found in red blood cells responsible for transporting oxygen to the body's tissue. Sickle cell illness hampers the transportation of oxygen to body's tissues. Normal hemoglobin containing red blood cells exhibit a smooth, disc-shaped morphology resembling hole-less donuts and possess a high degree of flexibility. They possess the ability to navigate through the blood arteries with great ease. Cells containing sickle cell hemoglobin exhibit rigidity and stiffness when deprived of oxygen. They undergo a transformation into a sickle or crescent shape like the letter C. These cells adhere to one another and have limited mobility throughout the bloodstream. This can obstruct the flow of healthy, regular oxygen-carrying blood by obstructing small blood arteries. So, yung sickle cell disease, ito yung namamanang sakit sa dugo na kung saan nagkakaroon ng problema sa hugis ng mga red blood cells. Sa halip na bilog yung red blood cells at malambot, nagiging parang suklay siya or letter C. Kaya nagiging matigas at malagkit ang mga ito. So dahil dito, naiipit at nagbabara ang mga cells na maliliit sa ugat na nagdudulot ng matinding pananakit, pamamaga at problema sa daloy ng dugo. Dahil mabilis mamatay ang mga abnormal na cells, nagkakaroon din ng anemia o kakulangan sa red blood cells, kaya madalas makaramdam ng panghihina at pagkapagod ang taong may SCD. Isa itong genetic na kondisyon, ibig sabihin, kailangan mamana ang defective na gene mula sa parehong magulang para magkaroon ng sakit. Wala pang tiyak na lunas para sa SCD, pero may mga paraan tulad ng gamot, blood transfusion at bone marrow transplant para makakontrol ang mga sintomas at maiwasan ang komplikasyon. Tay-Sachs disease is an uncommon hereditary metabolic disorder that primarily impacts young children and leads to gradual deterioration and loss of cells, specifically in the brain. The condition is the result of mutation in the enzyme hexasaminidase A, which leads to the accumulation of lipids or the fatty substance like oils and acids in cells, causing injury. A child who has a Tay-Sachs disease has both parents with the mutant gene. Ang Tay-Sachs disease naman ay isang bihirang namamanang sakit na nakakaapekto sa mga nerve cells sa utak at spinal cord. Nangyayaring ito kapag kulang o walang enzymes na tinatawag na hexosaminidase A or HEX-A na responsable sa pagtunaw ng mga fatty substance sa cells. Kapag naipon ang mga fatty substance, nasisira ang mga nerve cells at humihinto sa paggana. Karaniwang normal ang paglaki ng mga sanggol na may Tay-Sachs sa unang ilang buwan, pero unti-unting nawawala ang kakayahan nilang gumalaw, makakita at makarinig. Sa paglipas ng panahon, maaaring makaranas sila ng panghihina ng kalamnan, seizures at hirap sila sa paglunok. Sa kasamaang palad, ang sakit na ito ay lumalala sa paglipas ng panahon at kadalasang nagresulta sa pagkamatay ng bata bago mag-4 na taong gulang. HIV and AIDS, also known as human immunodeficiency virus, is a pathogen that targets immune cells responsible for defending the body against infection. This weakens the immune system, rendering individuals more susceptible to virus illnesses and disorders. HIV is transmitted through direct contact with specific bodily fluids, primarily during unprotected sexual intercourse or by sharing injectable drug paraphernalia. If left untreated, it leads to AIDS or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. AIDS is the advanced phase of HIV infection that arises when the virus severely compromises the body's immune system. HIV can be transmitted during unprotected sexual intercourse, in which this infection is referred to as sexually transmitted infection, or also known as STI. HIV can also be transmitted by blood contact, particularly when individuals engage in needle or syringe sharing. It is also possible for HIV to be transmitted from a person to a child through pregnancy, childbirth, or nursing. Ang HIV o Human Immunodeficiency Virus ay isang virus na sumisira sa katawan or sa immune system ng katawan, particular sa mga CD4 cells. So kapag sinabi nating CD4 cells? So yung CD4 cells, ito yung isang uri ng white blood cells na lumalaban sa mga impeksyon. So kapag bumaba ang bilang ng CD4 cells, humihina ang kakayahan ng katawan na labanan ang mga impeksyon at sakit. So, ang HIV ay naipapasa sa pamamagitan ng pakikipagtalik ng walang proteksyon, pagbabahagi ng karayom, or yung tinatawag natin yung sa paggamit ng syringe. Like for example, iginamit na sa isang tao, tapos iginamit sa'yo. And then yung tao na unang pinagamitan ng karayom na yun is may HIV pala. So, possible na mapasa sa'yo yung sakit na yun. At mula sa ina patungo sa sanggol, or kapag yung mother is may HIV na nung bubuntis na yung anak niya. So, possible din na mapasahan yung sanggol na yon. So, kapag hindi nagamot ng HIV, maaari itong mauwi sa AIDS or Acquired Immunodeficiency Syndrome, na siyang pinaka-advanced na stage na infection. So, sa point na to, sobrang hina ng immune system kaya nagkakaroon ng mga malulubhang infeksyon at cancer na bihirang tumama sa mga taong may malakas na immune system. Walang lunas sa HIV, pero may mga gamot na tinatawag na antiretroviral therapy or ART na nakatutulong para pagpabagalin ang pagkalat ng virus, palakasin ang immune system at maiwasan ang paglala ng sakit sa AIDS. So the next one is cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy refers to a group of chronic diseases that impact the ability to move and coordinate. The condition is attributed to a cerebral issue that arises prior to, during, or shortly after birth. The common causes of cerebral palsy and risk factors include brain damage from periventricular leukomalacia, head injuries, intracranial hemorrhage, or internal bleeding inside the brain, meningitis, lack of oxygen to the brain before, during, and after birth, prematurity, and prenatal exposure to drugs or alcohol. CP's physical symptoms include shortening of muscles, floppy muscle tones, jerky reflexes, involuntary movements of tremors, stiff muscles, and other muscle tones and coordination challenges. There are also some neurological symptoms that may coexist with its physical characteristics such as learning, communication, and sensory processing difficulties. Ang cerebral palsy ay isang kondisyon na nakakaapekto sa kilos at koordinasyon ng katawan ng isang tao dahil sa pinsala or abnormalidad sa utak habang nagde-develop ito. Kadalasan nitong nangyayari or nag-o-occur bago o habang ipanganak yung isang bata. So dahil dito, nagkakaroon ng problema sa muscle control, balance at posture. Kaya hirap ang isang tao sa paggalaw, paglakad o kahit sa simpleng gawain tulad ng pagkain o pagsasalita. So the next one is spina bifida. Spina bifida arises in the 3rd and 4th weeks of pregnancy when a segment of a developing spinal cord fails to seal correctly. Consequently, the child is born with a portion of the spinal cord visibly uncovered on the posterior side. There are 3 common types of spina bifida: myelomeningocele, meningocele, and spina bifida occulta. The most severe type of spina bifida is the myelomeningocele, in which an infant develops a malformed spinal cord causing a part of the underdeveloped cord to stick out through the back. This type of spina bifida has an exposed cord leaving the nerves and tissues visible. Meningocele happens to an infant when a cyst filled with fluids protrudes through a fissure in the baby's spinal column, which results in a minimal nerve injury. Ang spina bifida ay isang congenital na kondisyon kung saan hindi nagsasara ng maayos ang spine at spinal cord ng isang baby habang nasa sinapupunan pa lang. Dahil dito, may butas o opening sa spine na pwedeng magdulot ng pinsala sa spinal cord at mga nerves na nagre-resulta sa kahirapan sa paggalaw, pagkawala ng pakiramdam, at minsan ay mga problema sa pantog at pituka. May iba't ibang klase ng spina bifida. The first one is the myelomeningocele. Ito yung pinaka-severe na kung saan may nakausli na bahagi ng spinal cord sa likod ng bata. And yung sunod naman is yung meningocele. Ito naman may nakausli na fluid sac pero walang kasamang spinal cord. And the last one is spina bifida occulta. Ito naman yung mild lang and kadalasan wala kang makikitang simptomas. So, paano nga ba magagamot yung spina bifida? So, magagamot ito sa pamamagitan ng operasyon para isara ang butas at maiwasan ang karagdagang pinsala, kasabay ng physical therapy para makatulong sa mobility at daily activities. The next one is muscular dystrophy. MD is a group of hereditary disorders that results in the gradual weakening and deterioration of skeletal muscles. These disorders, numbering over 30, differ in terms of the age at which they begin, the extent of their severity, and the specific muscles they affect. As a hereditary disorder, MD is not transmissible and cannot be triggered by a physical injury or exertion. Every type of muscular dystrophy deteriorates over time as muscles gradually atrophy and weaken. A learner with muscular dystrophy ultimately experiences progressive loss of ambulatory function or their ability to walk. The weakening of muscle tissues eventually affects their mobility and to perform psychomotor function that are essential for physical activities, according to National Institute of Neurological Disorder and Stroke. So yung muscular dystrophy naman, ito yung isang grupo ng mga namamanang sakit na nagdudulot ng unting-unting panghihina at pagkasira ng mga muscles sa katawan, lalo na sa mga skeletal muscles na ginagamit sa paggalaw. So mahigit 30 klase ng MD ang naitala na nagkakaiba lamang sa edad ng pagsisimula, sa tindi ng epekto at kung anong muscle ang apektado. So namamana nga ito. So dahil doon, hindi ito nakukuha sa pamamagitan ng injury or sobrang pag-eehersisyo. So habang tumatagal yung mga taong merong muscle dystrophy, patuloy na humihina yung mga muscles nila kaya nagkakaroon ng problema sa paggalaw at unting-unting nawawala ang kakayahang maglakad. So kalauna naapektuhan din nito ang kakayanang gawin natin ang mga basic na physical na gawain at iba pang psychomotor functions. Spinal cord injury or SCI is a term used to describe damages to spinal cord caused by trauma such as falls and road traffic accidents, or non-traumatic causes such as tumors, degenerative and vascular disorders, infections, poisons, or congenital defects. The manifestation of spinal cord injuries is contingent upon the severity and specific site of the trauma. An injury that happens higher up on the spinal cord has a greater impact on a larger portion of the body. Ang spinal cord injury ay isang pinsala sa spinal cord na maaaring dulot ng trauma tulad ng pagbagsak at aksidente sa kalsada. O kaya naman ng non-traumatic na dahilan tulad ng tumor, sakit sa ugat, infection, lason, or congenital defects. Tetraplegia or quadriplegia can result from a spinal cord damage occurring at a higher level, leading to a paralysis in the majority of the body and affecting all limbs. When an injury occurs in the lower part of the spinal cord, it may slowly impact the lower body and legs of an individual, resulting in paraplegia. Paralysis can occur either immediately after an injury or primary damage, or gradual over time due to bleeding, swelling, and cell death in the spinal cord or the secondary damage, according to National Institute of Neurological Disorder and Stroke. An individual who is suspected with SCI can be diagnosed through medical tests such as magnetic resonance imaging or MRI, computerized tomography, and X-ray. Ang epekto ng spinal cord injury ay nakadepende sa tindi at lokasyon ng pinsala. Kapag mataas sa spinal cord ang injury, mas malaki ang apektadong bahagi ng katawan. Kapag nasa itaas na bahagi ng spinal cord ang pinsala, maaaring magresulta ito sa tetraplegia or quadriplegia. Ito yung paralysis sa apat na limbs at karamihan ng katawan. Kapag nasa ibabang bahagi naman, pwedeng magdulot ito ng paraplegia or ito yung paralysis na sa ibabang bahagi ng katawan at mga binti. Ang paralysis ay maaaring mangyari agad pagkatapos ng injury or ng primary damage o unting-unting lumala dahil sa pagdurugo, pamamaga at pagkamatay ng cells sa spinal cord. Ang SCI ay natutukoy sa pamamagitan ng mga medical test tulad ng MRI, CT scan at X-ray.